All right, guys. Today we are talking about House of the Dragons, episode 9. Um, Specifically, what we think is going to happen and the stuff that we've seen so far in the show. My name's Tones. This is xrod or Xavier. Um, so the first thing I think we should talk about is the show in general. Like what we've seen so far. We got one more episode left. What we've seen so far. Um, the time jumps, the different characters, and all that stuff. So start off. Do you think in season one so far they've moved too fast?
We've talked about this. Yeah, I mean, I've always thought they moved too fast. 10 the 10 years, I get why they did it. And that was to bring Rhaenyra and Allison I guess,
Childhood or
out of their childhood and
yeah.
making them women to rule.
Hmm.
But I'm sure there's still a lot of stuff that happened between those 10 years that could have been key
Explain
points.
more. Yeah.
Like, why was Damon gone for so long? Was Rhaenyra talking to Damon during that time at any point? You know, how did she, she has her kids. I want to see when those kids were born. Were they key times? Because obviously everybody's talking shit about these kids because they're not the kids that everybody thinks they're supposed to be. They're not white haired.
Yeah.
So those are kind of key points. Was everybody talking shit, or is just this last child like, oh, that's the iceberg?
Yeah.
Is it are those the key points?
So one thing that a lot of people I've heard talk was or say was that they got confused of all the characters, all the Aegons, all the you know, the brother dating sister and marrying sister, uncle marrying niece. Like one thing that people got really confused about was why they did all that in such a short time. So in the books, by the way, we've never read the books. We're pretty much going to base our opinion and our um, overlook on the show on what we've seen through the show.
I read about.
For those who don't know, but a lot of detail they had to put in those first what 6 episodes, 5 episodes of those time jumps and all that stuff. They had to try to fit as much as they can so they can lead up to the Dance of the Dragons. And
All right.
and if you think about it, what they did was kind of brilliant because all that time that they took out would have been just fillers, in my opinion, because they had to say or they had to film when they were young, um, when she was pretty much the heir to the throne. They had to throw all that in there at a young age so they can fit her kids, her why he was sick, why Viserys was sick. Like we needed to see all that, but at the same time, that long fucking 16 years or whatever it was that it took for those 5 episodes was a must
All right.
because we would have just it would have been so slow and people would have been even more pissed off because the show was so slow. I don't know if you remember Game of Thrones. The show started off roughly kind of slow. Like the first couple episodes, a lot of people didn't like because it was so slow. But
Well, I mean, when you're waiting for people to come through the snow for
yeah,
4 or 5 months trying to get to the Winterfell,
yeah,
then you guys hang out in Winterfell for 3, 4 months, and some dumb shit's going on. It's gonna take a
yeah.
while.
So I think what they did was, yeah, people thought it was kind of slow, but it was a must. And how they transitioned from them being children to married and fucking 7 kids each or whatever it is, I think
Right.
they pulled it off well enough for us to see who the characters are, who they developed like Alicent and Rhaenyra. Their characters developed fairly quickly and we got used to them within the 4 episodes they've been on, on TV. And I think they did a great job.
Uh, and I will say, um, older Rhaenyra, like, came in hard, bro.
Hmm.
Um, the actress, I can't remember her name. It's like Emma Darcy.
Yeah, yeah,
She took on the role.
brilliantly.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she came
brilliant.
in hard. She's that the hard ass like and we see her like the first time we see her, she's popping out a kid
Yeah,
like
exactly,
period,
exactly.
and she gives the attitude of the younger version of herself to Allison. Like Allison say, "Oh, bring the child to me," and she's like, what the fuck does she need to see the kid right now? Like
Yeah,
I just had it, but you know she's not gonna let this kid go with just one of her handmaidens or whatever. She got up like a badass and walked in that room and was like, "Here, anything else you need,
but
homie?"
by
You
the
know,
way, did you know that part that was shot in all in one take? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I
so
bet you crazy.
I saw an interview with the I think he was the director, or I don't think he was the I think he was the director, but he pretty much was stating that the space that they had in that part, they were like, let's use all of it. Let's use as much as we can in this one part, and they shot that one scene from when she had the baby to when she got to Allison and Viserys in the room, all in one shot. I thought that
Right.
was pretty cool.
Um, that's actually bad. I didn't know. I did not know that. And another detail about that whole scene is when she leaves out of the room with her kid and Loris. Um, is it Loris or when Lenor and Rhaenyra walk out of the room, the detail of that scene because she's still bleeding.
Yeah, she's
So behind her on
yeah,
the ground is streaking blood.
yeah,
I thought that was one of the best details in a
right,
scene like ever.
right on Sir Kristen's fucking shoes, bro.
Right.
Yeah, that was sick.
Oh yeah, and that punk ass bitch.
All right. So another thing I wanted to bring up was how obviously, like I said before, we haven't read the books. We kind of know what's gonna happen just by um, the show's foreshadowing what we think is gonna happen. But a lot of people in comments stating what happens, and a lot of Game of Thrones parts in that show gave away what's gonna happen. We know how Rhaenyra dies because of Game of Thrones. Um, we know how she dies because of Game of Thrones. But in your opinion, how different do you think the book is going to be from the show?
Like you said, uh there's I haven't read the book at all. Never read the Game of Thrones book, never read House of Dragons or it's Fire and Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Um or Fire and Blood.
Fire and Blood, yeah.
Never read it. Never read any of the books. Never even read the summary on the back of any of the books. We know from Game of Thrones they're not going by the books
Mm-hmm.
because season 8 came out before that was even written.
If I'm not
But
mistaken, season 7 as well. So I was told that the Night King isn't dead in the show
in the book, you mean?
or in the book. Yeah. So from season 7 and 8, were I'm assuming they were off script or they were written by someone else.
Okay, they had to have been written by the writers um, from season 8, and like we
D
talked about
D and
before,
D.
uh, we know those guys rushed it. We can get on that point later on, but yeah, I think from me just watching the show, I know they're not going off the book. There's no way you're going to get all this entire book into a season.
Mm-hmm.
I know George said that he wants to do it for to tell the whole story. Got to be at least 4 seasons. Go 4 seasons. Go 5 seasons. Go six. I don't give a fuck. Just you know, it better. If it's not going off exactly what the book is, have it end the same way. If you're gonna get there a different way, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've heard that Lenor died in the book.
Yeah.
He's not dead in the show. We saw him get on the boat.
From
He's gone.
he's not dead from what we know, from what we've seen.
Right.
So and also um his sister, um
when she got
yeah, when she
Dracarys all
yeah
over the floor.
yeah
Uh-huh.
she didn't die that way in the book. She died um and then the baby ended up dying like a couple days after when they cut
So
her out.
she died from childbirth.
Yes.
So she died
And then
on
she
in the
died in, giving birth, and then the
uh
baby ended up dying a couple of days later. But
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
the reason why they didn't um, the reason why they didn't do it that way is because when Emma died, um,
That's how it was.
yeah, so they wanted it kind of different from how Emma died, and
Okay,
she
so exactly right there, not repeating anything. Now repeating that exact same death
brilliant,
is
brilliant.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
The only thing I don't agree with in that part is she's she's pregnant. She still has the kid.
She fucking flashed
She's
her way over there to to
there's no way
Vagar.
she was. I'm sorry. If I'm Damon and I really give a fuck, she ain't making out the door.
Yeah,
I would have been out that front door. Where you going? She walked all the way down them steps, got outside, walked up to her dragon,
yeah,
sat there for a good hot minute, and said Dracarys like 6 times.
yeah.
And then he lit her on fire. I want to touch a point on this last episode. Uh, and we see in the beginning of this episode, um, the whole castle's kind of dark. No one really knows that Viserys is dead.
Hmm.
But when the small council finds out, they are quick to flip.
Yep.
They were already trying to pick someone else as king, not Rhaenyra. Why do you think the small council of Viserys and Alicent, because Alicent's not the queen and she's from what's running the show, why were they so quick to turn their backs on Rhaenyra and choose Aegon right away?
So Otto Hightower is the one that told Alicent what to do, told her to go to King Viserys. He's pretty much set up everything for her to inherit, or not inherit, but her to become the next queen after Emma died. Now, now that that happened, the kids are half Hightower, half Targaryen. Now, to answer your question, he's I don't know for sure if he's the one that actually went up to everyone and was doing all the talking and hey, we should fucking have him become king. And but their main thing is they don't want a woman at they don't want a woman to run the kingdom, the seven kingdoms. And in my opinion, because when King Viserys was chosen to become king over Rhaenys, I think that was foreshadowing that a woman can't and will not run the seven kingdoms.
See, and even then, at that point, a lot of people were backing Rhaenys. You
Hmm.
know, a lot of people had her back to run the kingdom. So, is it always a small council kind of making these choices because they were all votes?
And
To
I I think it's like in this case for this specific small council, it has to be Otto Hightower. He's either asking or telling them, "Hey, this is what the king wants. I'm the hand of the king. I'm pretty much telling you what he's saying," or he's saying that um, we need Aegon as the king because for one, I don't think they want to fuck with. I don't think they wanted to deal with Daemon at all. Like because he's going to be the king consort if Rhaenyra becomes queen, and
right,
and
and he's always going to be on a small council. Then,
I don't think anyone wants to fucking deal with him, dude. So
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't want to deal with his ass either.
no,
I mean, it seems like he's turned over a new leaf, but at the same time, no, he's going to hold his tongue. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, okay, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was just like there was definitely, uh, there definitely backstabbing and people going around without the queen obviously knowing. I don't necessarily think they were doing it in spite of Viserys, but I think they were like, yeah,
Well, there's no other way around that though. If you're going against the wishes of what he had, what 18 years? What did Aegon say? He had 18 years to make me the heir, and he didn't. Remember,
20 years. It was
20
20
years.
years.
He had 20 years to make me the heir, and I'm supposed to believe that on his dying breath he wanted me to be king. Like, for one, we all know that he wasn't talking to. He didn't think he was talking to Allison. He thought he was talking to Rhaenyra the whole time. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would he want that as his dying wish? So,
And that's what I'm saying. And I guess now, uh, I don't know. I'll take that and segue into my next question. Why are there so many motherfuckers named Aegon?
it's the way they wanted. George R. R. Martin wanted. So I don't know if you know this, but a lot of these characters are based on like historical, not not historical people like the name Aegon, but they're based on what the families did back in the day.
Right.
They named him Aegon and all that stuff. This is what I like I said, never read the books. This is what I've read like about the Aegon name is that they want to keep that name going because of that. It just pretty much like Aegon the Conqueror. They wanted that name to continue, that name to live on. Aegon just happens to be the name they want to live on. So of
So
course,
so 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 as far as we know, Aegon goes down at least to six.
hmm
Aegon the Conqueror, Aegon II, which is now king.
hmm
Uh, Aegon, I guess the third of his name, who is
see
the
that
son
I
of
don't understand that of Rhaenyra, but I don't
the
understand that
son.
either. I don't.
There's there's two existing now.
Yeah,
So and even if Viserys said, "I want Aegon to be king," so his son Aegon, his grandson Aegon, you know, like what are we talking about here?
hmm
Even if he did say that, or he said, and Allison didn't. I had to assume she didn't hear him say Aegon's dream. Why would he be talking about Aegon's dream? And did he talk to? Did he have a conversation
no,
with his son about him dreaming?
you got to remember, dude, that story was only told to Rhaenyra.
Correct.
So she has no idea who the hell what Aegon really dreamt about or the story about. I could be wrong by this, but from what I remember, so in episode 1 when Viserys was talking to Rhaenyra, he was telling her that story. Now, you got to remember what he said was Aegon had a dream that um Aegon will unite the kingdoms. Now,
No,
or something. It was something along the lines of that.
no,
It was written
that
on the knife.
someone that the king or someone will unite the
Yeah,
kingdoms.
it was something like that.
Someone, not the king. He was saying that's why he said he was saying to Allison, "It's you.
Yeah,
You need to." So he was saying it in his head to Rhaenyra.
but it wasn't her.
Right. It was
Jon Snow was the Aegon Targaryen was the one to unite all the kingdoms. But
right.
what he was trying to tell her, what he thought he told her was that the dream was true. Now, if you remember, Viserys also had dragon dreams. He
Mm-hmm.
saw things in the fire as well. Now,
Right.
he was kind of telling Alicent when they went on that hunt. Remember when Sir Kristen and Rhaenyra were out and they collected that boar when she like
Before he was a bitch. Yeah.
yeah. You remember when he was drunk and he was in front of the fire with Alicent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the boar came out.
he was kind of telling her about that, about like the dream and stuff.
I think Viserys saw many. He probably saw a lot of dragon dreams
Well,
or dreams in the
see,
fire,
we
and could never tell anybody.
not just that. I don't think he saw. I don't think he thought it was real. I thought because he was drinking or little things that he did, like he just thought it was like a either a like I said, don't know if this is true. I'm totally just talking out of my ass because I haven't read the books, but from what I'm seeing and I'm putting together from the show, he's kind of drunk at times when he has these dreams. So we don't know if he thinks it's just like a like he's been drinking type of dream. You know what I'm saying? But um, so to back up real quick, in that dream, I believe that story was passed down to make Aegon the one to unite the kingdom. For the name to unite the kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
So so you're thinking they kept saying giving the kids the names Aegon to because they're
Fulfill the
part of
prophecy.
prophecy.
Yes.
So let's just name our kid Aegon 65 times and just
I mean,
hope,
it
hopefully one of them gets it done.
hey, it took six, bro. It took six. So
Why is the queen putting her feet out on Feet Finder for Sir Laris
so
or
you,
Sir Loris Strong?
Lair is strong.
Sir Laris Strong.
So obviously, I don't think I thought he was gonna play a bigger part by now. And to be 100% honest with you, when Helena said that beware the beast beneath the boards, I
I
thought
thought it was him.
I thought it was him as well. And
Yeah,
from when
and
I was
like by beast was like a snake.
no the rats. Remember, I so I
Oh,
thought
that's a good point.
I thought he
That's a
was
good
a
point.
I thought he was a warg. So the previous videos I made on TikTok was Laird Strong being a warg, you know, getting information through the rats because the significance of the rats being on camera, there had to be something there. And the only thing
And there was always a bunch of them. Always a bunch of
exactly,
them.
dude, when remember when fucking Viserys was getting busy with Allison, the one walked
Right.
around walked on top of the awning and when Viserys was in his room by himself, there's one walking the blood scene during the wedding, during the dinner. You know, there's
I
all these rats showings had to be for something. So my initial thought was Lara Strong was a war getting information.
yes.
So Varys was the master of whispers. So I believe he is as well for this for
Okay.
House of the Dragon.
So
So
that's what he is to
I,
her.
I thought pretty much, and I thought he was also getting his information through the rats. Now, when Helena Targaryen said, "Beware of the beast beneath the boards," my initial thought was, "What the fuck is under the boards besides rats?" I mean, beside in a rodent form, fucking rats. So I I was totally fucking wrong. It was Rhaenys fucking shit up with her dragon, and that was the beast beneath the boards. But that's pretty much. I thought he was gonna have a bigger role at this point. Right now, he's fucking jerking off to feet and telling the queen what she wants to hear, so he can get his fix.
Right.
So I don't know what his I don't know what he's going to be in later on in the show, but for right now, he literally just plays a creep, and that's all we know.
Loris Strong. Okay, he's the master of whispers. He has the beekeepers. He has these guys that go out and he had these guys who kill his family, but he doesn't have that much power. So he
Mm-mm.
just gets turned on by feet. Okay, go to a brothel, homie. But I guess
Real
this.
shit, bro. Queen's feet, bro.
I mean, if
I,
you,
if I was in the feet, bro, that is top foot of the year.
but that's what I'm saying.
I don't
Why
give a
hasn't
damn
she? As soon as he requested, why didn't she cut out his tongue right then and there and call it a day?
because he,
Like,
I think he pinned their deaths on her. That she asked him to kill her family because she wanted Otto, her aka her dad, to be the hand again.
kill whose family?
So you remember that when they were talking about Otto want She has no family at the King's Landing. She had no family because her dad got sent back home. Her dad got fired for being the hand.
Right.
So when she was saying, I want my dad back or I want my family here, I have no family here. Fucking Footboy took that as I'm gonna go kill my mom or my brother and my dad and make Otto Hightower the hand again. And sure enough, that's what happened.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, so I'm saying, as in,
Why is she creeping, bro?
why is it a creeper?
Here's Johnny.
Uh, but yeah. So for the Master of Whispers, for Sir
Lairs.
Loras to have,
Don't say sir. It's just Lairs Strong.
I
He's
thought he's a sir.
no. He's a bitch.
Uh,
He's a lord technically, but
he's a sir,
he's a lord.
Sir Lord bitch. For him,
Lord Footboy.
Lord, Lord, yeah, no, Footboy there, I don't think should be A, alive, B, fondling himself to the Queen's feet, and like I'm just saying, I've seen hands get killed for just existing in Game of Thrones. Allison is letting him go
Treasures one.
way too far.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Okay, so we are coming off. We are coming to the season finale next week. Um, how would the last episode impact the season 2 viewership? Because we all know that there's that year difference, and I've watched shows that pretty much lose a lot of viewerships because it took so long for them to put out a new season, and then end up being shit. So what do you think they can do to bring back the same amount of viewerships?
Well, so first off, to start, see the series finale, episode 10, has to drop bombs.
Hmm.
They've
I
kind of already
agree.
been doing it the whole season, so you can't get off of this trend now.
Hmm.
You gotta. I had no idea, not in the slightest clue, Rhaenys was gonna come from under the floorboards and just shit. All like half the town is dead.
Bro, in our reaction video, our faces lit up, dude.
I had
Like,
not the slightest clue that was going to happen.
yeah. So,
Um, yeah, that was a like bomb. No idea that was gonna happen. Um, you keep this keeps that's like the trend of the whole season is that, oh, it's kind of a calming point, kind of we're just kind of chilling out. Um, you know, the kids are bastards. Hold your tongue, bro.
you know,
That
they
froze me.
you're right. They've had big scenes that have made our jaws drop. And so you
So
expect that to happen in the last episode?
last episode, that has to happen. Something of that magnitude has to happen to get everybody, and like it can happen in the beginning, middle, or end, but it's got to be enough to rope everybody back in to have the same feeling from this season into next season.
Now, do you think because of the series, people are just gonna watch it either way if it's shit or not? Because I would be the first one to admit if they came out with a season 9 of Game of Thrones, I would have watched it religiously, even though season 8 ended the way it ended. So do you think that, how can I put this? Do you think that because of the name House of the Dragons, people are just gonna automatically watch it, or do you think that the way this show ends, people are gonna want to watch season 2 because of how good season 1 was?
I think if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you watched House of Dragons. You were the Game of, like you said, you would have watched season 9. I would have watched season 9.
Hmm.
Season 8 was shit to me. I did not like season 8 at all. Maybe the first 3 episodes, probably about it. But you're a Game of Thrones fan, so now you got to know what's going on in the prequel,
Hmm.
sequels. there are many spin-off shows coming that I'm gonna watch because I'm a Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah.
So uh in in season two, people are absolutely gonna watch because it's House of Dragons. Because now this show has made such an impact on the whole the timeline,
Mhm.
B just it being such a hook now, as the people are coming back to watch season two just because of the name. But like I said, you gotta have that bomb drop or that hook, that big scene to bring everybody back. You can probably have that kind of dud if you want to explain what happened in between it. If there's another kind of time jump or just a bit of a time lapse, like say shit continues on after 6 months, a year,
Mhm.
you have to explain that, and which it might be kind of a dud, whatever. It might take a little bit of time, but you got to keep up the trend of bringing viewers back.
Exactly.
You know, like we make sure we watch that shit every Sunday because we love the damn show. I'm expecting something to happen. I'm looking for even the little details now. Like you
Yep.
said, the rats. That's a detail that matters.
Mhm.
The they always pan to like something. Oh, just letting you know this is kind of here. But I'm gonna explain what this is next episode. I gotta know
and
what
that
that is.
and that's what Game of Thrones didn't do is there were so many unanswered questions that we had for season 8. And
Mhm.
I don't really want to talk about Game of Thrones in season 8 at the moment, but I do want to bring this part up. The character buildup that we had for Daenerys and Jon Snow, to have none of them rule was probably the most depressing thing in a show in history, is having that kind of buildup of 8 seasons of two people who deserved to be on the throne, just to end it with none of them on the throne, one dead, and the other one out of the seven king, like totally out with the wildling. Like it just didn't make sense. So what I'm trying to get at was in season one, they can't do that. Like they can't have these build-ups and just don't explain shit. So that's one thing I'm hoping they don't do.
Well, and then here's another thing I'm so excited about is not season 10, episode 10 is we didn't see Rhaenyra or Damon at all this episode.
It was a Green Council, that's why.
The entire we didn't see them at all, and I hope to God Rhaenys rode right to them
Oh,
and said, "Listen,
yeah.
we gotta roll out."
I don't think in episode 10 they're gonna show too much of, I guess, the quote unquote war that's about to happen, the civil war that's gonna happen for for it. But I do think they'll show the lead up to season two
If you
of
show like me, I don't watch the end of the show. I don't watch the next episode. The little stills and snippets of what's
the
coming,
yeah the
the trailer. I don't
next
watch what's
on
gonna happen next.
next on House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
I
watch
don't.
that either.
I don't watch that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know what's gonna happen. I didn't read the books. I have no idea what's going to happen. I want to react to it.
Hmm.
Uh, if they're gonna show that at the end, maybe they've already sampled some stuff. Maybe they already have a little bit of next season ready to go. I don't want to see it.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're gonna show or have a lead up to their civil war in in this episode. Okay, it better not time jump. You know what
So
I'm saying?
let me say this real quick. If they do show any kind of like where the war starts, I believe that's how episode 10 is gonna end. Meaning, I think the beginning of the quote unquote war, the Dance of the Dragons, is going to be the last part of episode 10, the ending of episode 10. Like they're going to show the beginning of the war. And in season 2, they possibly could time jump maybe like a year or so, like in the war, and then they'll kind of break down what's gonna happen in season 2, but
Right.
I think that's how it's gonna start or how it's gonna end in episode 10, and how it's
I
gonna
don't want them to
start.
jump too far
Yeah, me
to
neither.
where like key players in the show are dead
Hmm.
or about to die. You know, oh, like let's say one of these people are now like a commander in this war. Uh, and also I'm like, oh, in the first episode we see them just get their ass kicked, like just get obliterated. But we hear that they've won this and this amount of battles or whatever. I want to see those battles.
Hmm.
Show me these scenes. If you're fighting on a ship, no dragon, let me see it.
Yep.
If you're setting cities on fire, I want to know who linked up with who, what houses are supporting, King's Landing, who's supporting from, uh, like
Dragonstone.
Dragonstone. Are the Lannisters are key players because we know the future. Who's the key players right now among this war, and to us, in seeing the future and how's it going to end.
Guess who we're gonna see in season 2? By the way,
I would.
no.
Uh,
Guess who we're gonna see in season 2?
cool.
The Starks, baby. We're gonna be in Winterfell for season 2. They're gonna be in Winterfell. Um,
So,
Ned
are we seeing
Stark's Ned Stark's
Dad,
ancestor. No,
Grandpa?
like great grandpa or some shit. You gotta remember
Uh,
they're like 200 years. So like,
the one like 150 years or 175 years, something like that. When the
oh
first
no, yeah, yeah.
episode
So
is 200
so
years.
so it was no, first episode was 172 years, and then they time jumped like, so it's about like roughly 150, 160 years. Anyway, so
So
it,
probably great grandpa.
yeah, but
Maybe great great. Yeah.
yes, but they're gonna be in Winterfell. They're gonna be at the Starks. I don't know what role they're gonna play or what's gonna happen, but we're gonna be in Winterfell next year or season 2.
Uh, I thought about today
Hmm.
before we got on this podcast is, you remember when you showed Dragonstone with Daenerys and Jon,
Hmm.
and Jon's laying on the bed, right? And what do you see in the background?
Oh no, that wasn't oh, was it? No, I think that was the boat, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure they were back at Dragonstone.
I thought they were on the boat. They had the chains, the hook up on the chains.
On the bed, right?
Yeah, little freaky nasty bitches.
Who's fucking at Dragonstone right now?
Oh, Rhaenyra and Damon.
Yeah.
I'm
We know
pretty
we
sure
used those before.
I'm pretty sure they're on the boat, but you might be
I think they're
right.
on the
I'll,
boat. I
I'll have
think
to
they're at
look.
Dragonstone, bro.
I'll have to look into that. But yeah, that's true. So
Uh-huh.
let me get a little context. One of the first videos I made about Game of Thrones and House of the Dragons was a video with Daenerys and Jon Snow when Jon Snow got back from fighting the White Walkers, and Daenerys saved him or saved everyone but him, and then Jon Snow ended up coming back on the horse when his uncle saved him. So when the video I made was the first thing I saw when Daenerys was in that room with Jon Snow was on the bed. What do they call it? The bed.
Headboards.
Yeah, the headboard of the bed. All you seen was chain hooks that you can basically chain someone to the bed. And my first thing was these fucking freaks, bro. They getting freaky. So that's
So
I
now we know who it was,
yeah.
bro.
Now we know who the freaks were, bro. Um. So we went over all that. I have one more question. How many questions you got?
And a bunch. So we can. I mean,
Okay.
I can save content for later.
Okay, because we're almost at an hour. Or we're at 55 minutes.
Yeah. What's the question?
Okay. So, well, do you ask one question and then I'll end it with my question.
Um. Oh, okay. This one's we can kind of debate on this real quick. Uh, the actor who plays Sir Kristen
Mhm.
um is playing the part perfectly
Oh yeah.
because I fucking hate him.
Yep.
I hate him so much. Do you think this is another Joffrey actor kind of situation to where everybody's gonna hate this guy after it's over and he's not gonna get another acting job, or do you think this is
Oh,
he's just playing the part really well at the time?
so no, I don't think he is a Joffrey. I don't think he is an equivalent actor to Joffrey. Um, Now the dude who played Joffrey, people didn't hire him because I don't want to say because he was a bad actor because he played his part very well.
People
Pe-
aren't hiring because he's a great actor.
yeah, people just didn't think that he would play certain parts. From what I read, because I remember I think I was talking to you about this.
Yeah.
People actually hated him in real life
Mm-hmm.
because of the character he played, which
I
is
mean, I'm imagine you playing a part so
yeah
well.
that people hate you
You
in real
you
life.
play this part so well, people actually fucking hate you.
Yeah. Uh,
Like
and
that, I would feel like a fucking king. Oh yeah, like
exactly.
yeah, I'm Joffrey Baratheon. Excuse me, Lannister.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
Now, I don't even think Sir Kristen is the equivalent to Joffrey. Kind of ironic who does play the equivalents and might be even worse than Joffrey. My fucking fans going nuts again. Um, I think the equivalent to Joffrey is Aegon. I mean,
but
yeah, and obviously we don't see him fucking kill anyone and do the sick shit that Joffrey did, but he was raping his fucking he was raping his maids. He was going down to the brothels having we see that he has a child by somebody. I think
and they said he might even have a few,
yeah,
not
exactly.
just the one.
Exactly. So I think he might be even, in some cases worse. But if I wanted to play like tit for tat, we can go all night, but as far as equivalence to Joffrey, I think it's Aegon.
So you're thinking, all right. So you think an equivalence to Joffrey in that sense, it would be Aegon and Aegon.
And
The
and
guy who plays Aegon.
no offense to the dude who played Joffrey, wasn't a cute guy. Like, let's be real, wasn't a cute guy. Now
You thinking
fucking
Sir Christian's cute?
Sir Kristen fucks. This dude fucks.
He does fuck. He does fuck.
He fucking, like, he fucks. So he's gonna get multiple fucking, you know multiple multiple jobs in general. But this is
I
just another
honestly
stepping
think
stone.
at some point, I think Sir Kristen and the Queen hook up. I think that's the thing that's gonna happen. Only because I don't think Alicent, she don't be like, oh, Rhaenyra had a piece of that dick, you know,
Let me
try it
touch.
out.
Yeah, let me touch something.
You want to see my feet?
Yeah. But yeah, if I had to pick an equivalent to Joffrey, I think it'd be Aegon. Just they have the king. Well, now that he is a king, in common, and they pretty much don't give a fuck what they do. So, if I had to pick one,
Okay, so to Fabian Frankel, who plays Sir Kristen, great actor.
oh
He was
yeah,
playing the part well. I fucking hate you.
I I hate
You're
your
making me
character.
hate. This character is such a douche.
I
Such a douche.
hate your character.
Oh my god.
Love the actor, just hate the character.
Such a bitch.
Um, do you ask another one? Ask another one, and then I'll ask my question. Cause we still have 1 minute, but we took a little intermission, so
Um. Oh. I wanted to give. I guess not even really a question. get your opinion on the Lord Commander Sir Westerling,
Hmm.
because, in my opinion, he did the right thing walking out of the small council.
He kind of ironic that you mentioned equivalency to Joffrey, Sir Barristan. He
Yeah,
is Sir
right,
Barristan to the T.
right.
Um, he plays he plays the Kingsguard perfectly and how it should be played. Now that we know, you know, what's it called? Sir Kristen is going to be the next um, Kingsguard. I think he's going to go over to Rhaenyra. Um, what's his name?
Uh, the last name was Westerling. I actually think it was
Westerling.
his first name though.
Sir Westerling.
Yeah,
I think he's going to go over to Rhaenyra and just like
Sir Harold Westerling.
okay, Sir Harold Westerling. I think he's gonna go over to Rhaenyra like Sir Barristan did when he went to Daenerys.
Daenerys.
Yeah, because I mean he's he was in every council meeting. He's seen what King Viserys did. What over the years he stuck by his word and he followed the king, the rightful king. Now people put a people put a coup. Now that Aemon is king, Rhaenyra is the rightful heir. Now Sir Harold Westerling, I think he's going to go over to Rhaenyra and Daemon and pledge his allegiance to him, which I
So,
think is pretty dope.
and we actually see two knights in this episode do that: Sir Westerling and Sir Eric.
Yep.
Because Sir Eric actually goes and gets out Rhaenyra,
Rhaenys. Rhaenys.
Rhaenys,
Yeah.
and uh, he's like, I can't stand for this corruption.
Hmm.
So he takes her out. It just happened to be during a time where everyone's getting rounded up to go see the new king, you know.
Yep.
But then, I guess it worked out as it should have.
Yep.
I just don't know where he's at now. I really don't. I have no idea where the hell he's at, because the last time we see him, he's standing in the middle of that whole crowd and still trying to find Rhaenys.
Rhaenys. Yeah. We'll see. I do think you'll see a lot of people go to Rhaenyra and Dragonstone as much as many people that can leave actual King's Landing because they
So I
pretty
get
much got a
hung.
yeah they pretty much have a hold on everything right now. But the people that can leave, I think, will go over to Rhaenyra. All right, so last topic we'll end it on here. We mentioned spin-offs. There's going to be a ton of spin-offs. Corlys might have a spin-off. Corlys Valarian might have a spin-off. Jon Snow might have a spin-off. There's supposedly tons of spin-offs coming from the House of Dragon series and the Game of Thrones series. Do you think, for one, do you think they should make these spin-offs canon? And do you think that they're going George R. R. Martin and the writers of the shows, do you think they're going to go the Marvel route and make their own kind of Marvel universe? Do you think they're going to go the route Marvel did as far as the shows and all that and the movies and all that?
Interlocking, interconnecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're already doing it. Technically, House of the Dragon is a spinoff of Game of Thrones.
Hmm.
It just happens to almost 200 years prior, and it will directly lead into Game of Thrones. We're already seeing characters that we've seen in Game of Thrones: the Lannisters, Starks, the Baratheons, um, all these characters, the Targaryens. I mean, shit, they still play a part in Game of Thrones
Hmm.
after they're all dead. There's only one alive, technically two, possibly three. I'm looking at you, Tyrion. Uh, all these shows, they if they're gonna go this route, they gotta interlock. Whether you're going 1,000 years prior, go 1,000 years prior. You know, I know there's supposedly another spinoff coming called 10,000 Ships, where the it's supposed to be the Queen of Dorne. Um, they're going set sail and going to Dorne, and you know, Dorne actually plays a pretty big part in Game of Thrones. I would like to see how that history started and how all that came to be.
Also, they mentioned, I believe they mentioned twice. So let me back up real quick. So Yiti is the city name. They mentioned it a couple times in House of the Dragons. It's an imperial Chinese kingdom that they might do a spinoff about. It's called the city is called Yiti, and they mentioned it in House of the Dragons, and I believe they're gonna be doing a spinoff of that as well. Yeah, so they mentioned Yeti a couple times. Believe they're going to be doing a spinoff on that. It's about the Chinese imperial dynasty.
Well, if they go off of Chinese origin, I mean that'd be cool. I'm totally down for that. Maybe it's some kind of you know, if it's some like if it's during the same timeline, maybe it's like the spice trade or something
Yeah,
about trading or anything, maybe coming into
I like that. Yeah.
King's Landing.
hmm
Um, that'd be
Now,
kind of cool to see.
now, do you think that they can make a? Do you think their shows will be that big to where they can have their version of what Marvel's doing?
I mean, you're not unless they're setting on planning out movies. I don't think they'll be as big, but you know, Game of Thrones, House of Dragons is already huge on its own. Everybody knows, who these characters are, whether you watch the series or not.
hmm
Everybody's talking about Jon Snow at least 100 times. Everybody knows, the Queen Daenerys, the Khaleesi. You say that to somebody that's watched the show or the series in like one season, they know.
Yeah.
House of Dragons is one of the most popular shows on TV right now. So
Yep.
you kind of know pretty much everybody's kind of watching it. So it's huge. Marvel just has movies going on for them, and they can continue and make. They have a multiverse as you could definitely make a multiverse out of this. He's going to stay in the same planet, whether it's 1,000 years prior, 90 years, same time, different ends of the earth. It's going to happen. I think they'll definitely they could rival if they wanted to. Just
Yeah,
put out some movies.
I agree. And I don't even, they could go the movie route. Don't think they should, in my opinion.
No,
I just
movies are
think
rushed. 2 hours.
I just think they need to put out more because I mean, obviously we waited what was it, a 3 year gap for season 8 or whatever it was.
So,
It was like a 2 or 3 year gap. Like, not that we should get like a show every year, but I feel like they need to put out more. We got for season 8 we got 6 episodes. For
3 years.
season it was 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 we got 10 episodes. Not that the 10 episodes is not a lot, but if they want people to be drawn in more than what they already have, I think they should make a little more, either more episodes or different spin-offs, but quicker. If
Right.
it,
And don't do a huge time jump either.
no, exactly, exactly.
Well, and so that's what I was gonna say. There's a few spin-offs that they actually have planned. Like obviously we're gonna see Jon Snow.
Mm,
Jon Snow is coming. I think the continuation of after Game of Thrones for Jon. Um, the Sea Snake, which we've seen, uh, Lord
Corliss,
Corliss.
Valarian.
He's hurt right now. We haven't seen him for 3, 4 episodes. I think it's three.
Yeah, and we do know. By the way, I don't know if you guys, people in the who are watching this, he's alive. He came back. He's injured as hell, but he did come back, and
They did say it.
that's what Alicent was saying to um Rhaenys. But continue.
So we know now we know he's alive.
hmm
That could be the spinoff. Is what happened when he left and how he comes back and kind of deals with everything. Maybe during the same time. Maybe it's prior or prequel. Why he becomes power. We could see on how that goes. Um, the 10,000 ships we already talked about. That's like the coming of Dorne. Um, this one I'd be interested in though is the tale of Dunk and Egg, which it says on here, uh, Dunk and Egg, Sir Duncan the Tall, and young Aegon Targaryen. Which it says Aegon the Fifth, so that would be we this right before. I mean, it says it takes 90 years before Game of Thrones. It says on here,
But
uh,
it's
Aegon fifth, Aegon the Fifth's grandson was the Mad King.
okay.
So Aegon five, his grandson is the Mad King.
So no one was Aegon Targaryen
From
prior
him
in Game of Thrones. Is what
to
I'm saying.
Jon Snow.
Okay, gotcha. Um, but yeah, in my opinion, as far as the spin-offs and all that stuff, I do think they will eventually be some kind of their version of a Marvel with all these shows and connecting and spin-offs and all that stuff. In my opinion, I just think the shows need to come out more or give us some kind of like phase. You know, in this year, phase one, we're going to release this show, and this show. You know, we're not going to tell you who's, you know, what's the story's about, but this is what we're going to put out. You know, kind of like what they did with, you know, the Marvel. They did phase one, phase two, and all that stuff. I think I think they should give their viewers some kind of indication of what kind of direction they're going to go.
And well, I don't disagree. I mean, I wouldn't say phases though, because a phase is leading up to something, right? And right now, there is no end game. As far as we know, unless there's going to be a bigger battle other than the Long Night in Winterfell, which we've
Yeah,
already seen. Um, you know, I don't necessarily think there are phases. I think you just maybe pick an era.
yeah,
Like, oh, this is the era we're to go to. We're gonna go back 1,000 years, tell the story. Then we're gonna jump 400 years and tell the story, and then rewatch a series if you want to while we're making another one, um, and tell the story of, and it can even be small stories on where they start out, uh, and to leading up to something bigger, and maybe shit. Give me a Cersei story on why Cersei and Jamie start hooking up and why she's such a bitch in King's Landing.
yeah,
You know, give me something like that. Give me how the Starks actually get their house. Give me how the Lannisters actually build their house. Give me the small stories. I'll take that.
yeah.
If you want to go cinematically, um, or a series verse, give me that. I want to know what happens prior.
I agree. All right, we'll leave it there. We're at an hour 18. I do want to talk about things real quick. I think we should talk about next episode or next I guess episode. We're gonna be having these episodes. Next episode, we're gonna talk about of course, at the ending of season 10 or episode 10, season one. I do want to talk about Aegon the Conqueror and why he played a big part in Aegon's cor- cor- coronation. In Aegon's coronation. But I do want to talk about Aegon the Conqueror in general because he's huge, and I do think they should make something about him. But we'll talk about that in the next episode, and also what we're going to expect for season two. Where would they find your social media?
You guys can see me xrod_TV on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and I'm also on Twitter. You guys can shoot me a DM. Let me know how you felt, how you feel about the show, any subject you guys want me to talk about, or tones. I'll be happy to answer.
And also any questions you have or things we should talk about, put in the comments, of course. And we'll pick out a comment.
All right.
All right, so guys, you can follow us on YouTube. It's Tones_TV. Also Tones_TV on TikTok and Twitter. Like I said, leave a comment on whatever you guys want to ask us, and we'll pick what you want to do, like top five comments,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
top.
we can do that.
We'll do top comments, and we'll ask the question and on
For
our
now, we'll
next
take
episode.
any comments we can get.
Yeah, pretty much. You got anything else to say?
No, thanks, guys. Thanks for
All right,
watching.
guys.
Appreciate you guys.
We'll catch you next time. Later.